And welcome to another edition, folks, of Steady Dropping Dimes. This is where the crew, the fellas, come together. And this time we're coming together after we were together in person last week on the My Ann Arbor tour around Ann Arbor. We went to 5 spots. And it's not just Ann Arbor, by the way, when we talk to you about being brought to you by Destination Ann Arbor, a proud sponsor. And we got to hang with the Destination Ann Arbor crew as well, the president, CEO of Destination Ann Arbor, your tour guides to all things in Washtenaw County, places to go, places to eat, places to stay, events coming to town. Destination Ann Arbor is your tour guide. And as I've been saying, they thought, what better way to show people around Washtenaw County, maybe some of the hidden gems, some of the things that they need to partake in when they come to town, and to have tour guides like current athletes like Will Johnson, former athletes like Mr. Devin Gardner and Mr. Daniel Horton. Fellas, how are you doing this fine Wednesday afternoon?
Doing good, doing good.
I'm outstanding. I'm outstanding. It's always a beautiful day when we get a chance to reconvene, especially after such a dominant performance by me on the tour, the many places that we went. We won't get too far into the weeds in that with that, but it's a great day. I'm happy to see you guys, honestly. I don't know how happy you are to see me. I don't know how happy you are to see me in this right arm, but I'm happy to see you guys.
Dan, we knew that was coming, right?
Yeah. That's what you
Let's
just
put it out
you gotta
front
let
and then we
crazy.
forward,
You know,
what
at
I
some
mean?
point, they just let Kanye talk now. We just gotta let DJ talk, man. Let him do him.
Kanye!
Now we gotta let him do him, Sam.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
man. Yeah, it was definitely one of those deals where we went and we went to the Folding Warehouse, which is outstanding, by the way. We gave you a little clip of what the Folding Warehouse is all. It was mixed between football and bowling. There's really the only thing bowling about it are the pins, right? But it's throwing a football. Devin Gardner's supposed to win that. Like literally supposed to win that. Like, come on, man. And so of course he's over here gloating and waxing poetic about how he beat.
Hold, time out. Firstly, it's still impressive when I tell you what I'm gonna do and then I do it to you. That's first. Secondly,
Whoa.
Daniel made it very clear that it didn't matter because and I quote, who DG think this? What he think this is? Like it ain't other athletes out here. Like I'm an athlete. You know what I mean? That's what
But you never competed directly against me, so the jury's still out.
Oh, here we go.
We'll get it. We'll run it back. Because we gotta practice. This dude been throwing a football his whole damn life. Like, come on, man. Like, come on.
That's why I was confused at why y'all thought y'all would beat me. That's what I was confused about. Do they know that on Evergreen and Linden, how many reps I've gotten in the projects playing on the side of the Smith homes, right? Gotten in the fights about it. I've been preparing for that moment all my life. How could you possibly think that I was going to lose?
Yeah, which is why this is like not even worth discussing. Like, okay, you won. So what? On to the next topic.
Moving forward.
Listen, we got a lot to get into. So starting off first with Michigan football. Staff is in place. We kind of went over a good deal of it. Really impressed with how it came together because, Sharon had to pivot a few different times and pivoted in a very definitive way from Clink saying he's coming back to leaving, right, to Steve Adegoke accepting the job. And then, that was an interesting one because Steve Adegoke, who's the Houston Texans safeties coach, he accepted the job. I think I mentioned this. I don't know if I mentioned it on last show. He accepted the job before telling D'Amico Ryan. I guess that it works that way, but it got out before he told D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah, you don't want
and
that.
So how does that get out? And I'm telling you, I'm betting you it was his agent. That's how you got to try to figure out how these things work. And so Matt Zennis, who does a great job with 24/7 Sports, like he's been on top. If I had something and I sat on it, like Zennis would have it. All those NFL guys especially are really tied in with those agents. So he had it. And when D'Amico found out, I think it made for some awkward moments. But he made it clear to Steve he wanted him to stay, got the money close enough to where it became, this guy gave me my first big break. I'm going to stay with him. Well, Sharon was ready to pivot immediately and went and got Lamar Morgan, the defensive coordinator from Louisiana, who's also Jesse Mentor's recommendation. So he was able to navigate all of that. Now, in the background of all of this, guys, is you're protecting a roster. In the day and age of NIL and the transfer portal, and this is very key. This was it required not just a Sharon Moore response, it required a program response. When other programs are actively poaching or attempting to poach and using NIL as a lure, this is call it what it's this is a thing. And you have agents shopping guys too now, so it's not like just a one-way street. You know, you got agents actually talking to other teams, which I don't even know technically if that's. I don't even think that's illegal. Like I don't, or against NCAA rules. I don't think if you aren't talking directly to the guy and the agent is talking to him, that's probably within the rules, right? So you got that going on. Your collectives have got to step up and make it so your roster is insulated. And the collectives have stepped up in a major way to do just that. For all of the hand wringing I had over, hey man, where's the somebody need to be talking to JJ McCarthy in the preseason, right? Bull on that. I was like, come on, man, what's up? So that didn't happen until like after the season, and then even when it came, it was like akin to a 1 more year fund. That's not enough for JJ McCarthy, who's probably going to be a top 10 pick now. Not enough to have second thought, but quick studies because the current roster, they were on the DG. They were on it with the NIL deals. We don't have to get into numbers and all of that. But like I know, the kind of numbers that were floating around and what was required of the collectives to respond, and the collective stepped up and did just that.
Yeah, the thing is, for Michigan, I think it's you get so much more with being a football player in this time that you take a little less money, right? And so I like to kind of compare it to, remember Tom Brady and all those guys, right? He was the leader. He took less money to build a roster with the Patriots, and it turned into a 20-year dynasty, right? And so for Michigan, you're winning a lot, right? You are going to the championship. You're on national TV. I'm just telling you, I'm in those Fox meetings, and we go and we have a seminar, and they talk about the draft picks of the games. Michigan is at the top of everybody's list, right? Michigan versus Ohio State is always the number one pick. And then you pick other games that Michigan has because of the ratings they get, right? So you're going to get so much more visibility at Michigan as well. And then you have to add in the ability to develop, right? Michigan has proven that they develop players much better than a lot of other places that are giving out this exorbitant amount of money, right? You're getting all this money, but you're not being developed. So the ultimate prize that you're looking for, you're never going to get it, which is the NFL and to be a draft pick and all those different things, right? Michigan has done a very nice job of, in my opinion, making it clear we aren't giving guys who haven't proven anything all the money. That's goofy. That's a goofy game. And you know what I always say, Sam? You play goofy games, you win goofy prizes. And the goofy prize is you keep losing to guys who you feel, whether it's arrogance or whatever, you feel like you shouldn't lose to, right? And I hate to do this because it seems like, oh, it's just because it's your rival. But you look at Ohio State, and it's like, you give this money to this recruit and these recruits and whatever, whether they pan out or not, and then you lose to Michigan, it's not giving the money to them. Right. And then those kids looking over across the way when they get older, right? Not right now because they got a little money in their pocket. They're like, well, that's fine, but I got money in my pocket. Well, when that money runs out and the dream starts to be deterred because you haven't performed well on the field, you start to look across like, man, this is probably not the greatest decision for me, just because my ultimate goal, whether I have a little money in my pocket or not, is to be a pro, right? I've dreamed of it since I was a little kid. Before we talked about this, I talked about Evergreen and Linden, right? In the projects, man. I'm just fighting for a dream. It wasn't truly about money, right? It's about, I love this game. I want to be at the highest level of this game. And when I was going to college, it's like, well, who would give me the best opportunity to be seen and be able to reach that goal? And right now, at this very moment, Michigan is the best opportunity for that, as far as I'm concerned, especially when you go up north, right, where it's cold, right? This is the best opportunity for kids to be seen first, right? Because all the big networks want the Michigan game. They do. They want the Michigan game. No matter who they're playing. They're playing Hawaii. They want to have them as the game because of the draw that it gets. And so I just think it's a really good decision to go to Michigan right now. And the fact that the collective, with all of that, right, the development, the obviously the Michigan degree, the Michigan kind of alumni base, all that stuff that was before NIL, and that's still there. People are forgetting it's still Michigan. But now for the NIL collectives to step up and let's add some cheese, right? Let's add some money to that. I think that's amazing, and they've done a very good job. And I think Sharon Moore is going to benefit a great deal from it.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Let's also be clear. They weren't offering less. So they didn't lose Keon Sabb for money. I'll get deeper into that, Daniel, as we get it. But this wasn't like they came and Bama, it was big bank take little bank like Jim did with Ben Herbert. That was big bank take little bank right there. That's I'm coming in.
You gotta do what you gotta do. I got a family. I'm like living my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was. But same thing with Houston and Steve Adegoke. They didn't come with more. That wasn't big bank take little bank either. That there were other factors. So my point is, and I used to say this with Michigan assistant coaches, like you shouldn't lose lateral moves for money.
Yeah.
Like if a guy's gonna make a lateral move, then it should be for some other reason. So in the case of a player, maybe he just sees more playing time. In the case of a coach, I don't think Steve Adegoke is looking at that as like a lateral. I'm in the NFL, right? The point is, don't make it be a money thing. And the collectives have stepped up in a way, Daniel Horton, with this roster to say money's not going to be a reason for guys to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that doesn't mean that your depth can't be enticed because that's what was attacked. So Amarion Walker, I think the three are Amarion Walker, Reese Atterbury, and Keon Sabb. Now, I think Keon was in line to – I think they could have played them all. But, you know, his reservations are more like, okay, last year I started the season because Rod was hurt, right? Rod comes back and I'm still playing, but then Quentin Johnson moves up. So I'm rotating. I think he played maybe 5 or 6 snaps in the Rose Bowl, right? So not getting a ton of snaps. And I think it was, and as a matter of fact, I know, having talked to his dad a lot, it was like, you know, I don't want to be in a position to where we're rotating again. And while I think it was likely that they weren't going to rotate, because one of those guys I think were probably moved to nickel. Mm-hmm. I think that it was more like, rather than a maybe, let's take this sure thing, Daniel Horton, as far as what the safety positions. They still got to compete, but what the safety positions look like at a depleted Alabama, which is also crazy to say, like Michigan is deeper than Alabama right now.
Mm-hmm. No, that's normally how it goes. Guys want to play, and guys want to play as many snaps or in football or as many minutes in basketball as they possibly can. It's not, it's not about. He's won a championship now. I guess he wants to go somewhere he can play 90 to 100% of the snaps, and that's understandable. Like, how else are you going to develop if you're going to continue to rotate with 3-4 other guys? As Michigan fans, right, we want to have as much depth as possible back there. Don't think we kind of have to be careful with the thinking that because it's Michigan, right? Oh, it's Michigan. Like, at the end of the day, money trumps all of that. Money, playing time trumps all of that. A guy go play football on the moon if he's going to get paid right, and he's going to get the comparable visibility and get to play all of the snaps. So I think that's one thing that we're probably going to get to, but it's just with the recruiting thing and the NIL thing all the way around, we kind of have to. I would almost remove the "it's Michigan" talk from the conversation, because let's be honest, a lot of these kids are not going to care about if it's Michigan, what Michigan has to offer. Everybody offers something comparable, right? They're going to want to know what the dollars and cents look like. And so with these guys going forward, you're gonna have to, like Devin said, step up and make that available.
And Antoine Johnson said they ain't depleted Alabama. They just don't have starting experience yet, but they got a bunch of 5-star safeties. That's my point. Michigan got both starting safeties back.
Yeah.
So when I say depleted, hey, they starting safeties at Ohio State right now.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Makari Page is back for a 5th year and starting.
How much money did he get to go to Ohio State? How much? Hey Sam, what was the rumor fee or price for him to go to Ohio State? Wasn't it a couple $1 million?
I don't know what that. I don't have any definitive intel or what he got for Ohio State. But for him to leave Alabama,
Who giving out that cheese? They've been giving out that cheese way before.
Way before it was legal.
And he was a starter. And he was a starter. Like, you leave Alabama as a starter. It's not Keon Sabb who was trying to be a starter. This is a bona fide starter at Alabama. And
who just played in the semifinal, I might add.
Like,
and now, Sam, I think Makari Page is a huge retention for Michigan. Just when I look at him, and, obviously there are other guys that have improved quite a bit. But from him as a young guy to this point now, every year he's had growth and growth and growth. He's going to work his way into being a big-time draft pick after coming back for this 5th year. I think that he still has such a high ceiling. He's got such great length, as far as his body is concerned, his arms and legs. Just trying to be cool about it. That's a wild statement to make. This guy has great length. But he does such a good job coming down, making tackles, right? Doing all the things you want to do. He could even grow into a guy who you're very comfortable having in the box, right? So when you go to nickel and dime, you're not truly nickel and dime, right? You're still a defense that has run-stopping type linebacker players. I think that Makari Page is really going to make himself a threat to a lot of guys going into the draft next year as far as safeties are concerned. And think about this, man. He's played a lot of football, right? He's played a lot of football at the highest level. He's played as many games as you can play for most of these years. So that's a huge retain. You don't usually talk about safeties coming back as much, but for Michigan to retain both their safeties in Rob Moore and Makari Page, that is huge for a defense that, obviously lost defensive coordinator and all those different things.
You know what they just did, DG? You're going to love this statement. Michigan got in a fight.
Oh, yeah.
They got in a fight NIL-wise. Now Michigan, I know a lot of these coaches. Like, I know a lot of, obviously, as people know, I go back with a lot of these dudes. So it comes full circle. So got in a fight NIL-wise. Now coaches, Rome, Steve Kasula, Grant News. I know all these dudes. Ron, BJ, Wink, got a chance to meet Wink a little bit. All right, now get in the fight in Tampering. What is tampering right now? Tampering is legal if you do it right. What just happened to Michigan? I mean, this is what's going on. So if I talk to a high school coach or I talk to an agent, and I'm not talking directly to the guy. Now, some of these schools are talking directly to the guys. I'm not saying break the rules. You'd be breaking the rules if you talk directly to a guy.
Of course.
But if I'm talking to their high school coach or if I'm talking to their trainer or I'm
also players talking to players.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Michigan been doing that. But I'm saying it's time to take it a step farther. Mm-hmm. Watching this whole experience with all of these schools, I mean, man, it was insane how many schools.
Hey Sam, handshake line after the game. Come on, what's happening, brother? How you feeling over there? I saw that thing what just happened to you today.
Yeah,
but we may have a spot.
Come on, man. And all these guys that you have relationships with in recruiting, you still know who their connections are. Start getting on the phone with them right now and talking to those people, talking to those coaches, talking to those agents about, hey, if things are looking right in the spring, we might have a spot for you up here, man. You got to start. That's getting in the fight. Yeah, that's what's going on. It's being done to you. This is the gray area that is, and people are going beyond the gray area to try to poach your depth. Yeah. And you've done a resounding job of protecting this roster to this point. That is NIL, that is championship culture that we're talking about is what it also contributes to it too. Right? That's relationships. I think the hiring of Sharon it held the roster intact for a period of time to allow the other factors to come to the fore. But now you got to do as they do to an extent. It is time to tamper because tampering is legal.
Hey, we need t-shirts. It's time to tamper. Hey,
it's one of those things, Sam.
By Sam Webb.
Hey, Sam, it's one of those things where you look at I know you talk to a lot of different coaches, you talk to parents, players. And I talk to a lot of different basketball coaches at the D1 level, right? And the guys that are getting players, you could see the difference between the guys that are getting players and the guys that aren't. the guys that aren't saying something like, well, you have to wait until they actually hit the transfer portal. Well, I'm like, if that's what I see why you're not, I see what's going on. Like, if this guy's hitting the transfer portal on Monday and committing to a school on Tuesday, he already know he's already been he's already way down the line in his process of choosing the school. So you already, if you're waiting until they jump into the portal, you're behind at this point.
Yeah. Daniel, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
It's a great movie. Terrific movie.
Great movie.
Terrific movie. But yeah, it's time to tamper. Get in that fight. Start working those rosters. You need a quarterback. You want to bolster your receiver room. Hey, man. And guess what? Guess what? I'm definitely tampering with Alabama. Yeah. I'm definitely tampering with Alabama. Hey, no, I love Court. That's my dude. Love him. Went to school with. Love you, Court. Time to tamper with Bama. Got to. Because here's the thing. They got this agreement in the SEC where you can't transfer SEC to SEC. So anybody that might at Bama or Tennessee, Ole Miss, not because Tennessee, they've been kind of Switzerland in this, right? But I guess ain't nobody safe. But Ole Miss and Bama, oh yeah, man, I'm definitely anybody that I know that might be connected with somebody on those rosters that might be poachable. Oh yeah, man. Definitely making some calls. Definitely all over that. Definitely trying to set the stage. So if a guy might be thinking about getting in the portal, well, maybe here's a little more enticing. You know, you got a spot over here if you decide to jump in. That way, you only in the portal 2 or 3 days, and then you could come right over here and get on this train and get in on this fight up here in Ann Arbor. Fellas, I think
these schools have whole departments. Like these schools have like 3-4 guys dedicated to watching lower level games or similar level games and pointing and picking out guys that they want to pursue. Yeah. Like it's if you could see these coaches like accounts on their different apps and stuff they use to watch film and scout where they can pull a player to the side. If you could get some insight into these coaches' accounts, you will see they have a lot of stuff marked and not guys that are currently on their team.
Hey, look, I don't say this lightly, and I'm not talking about cheating. This is not cheating. Did you just see the president of the NCAA, Charlie Baker? He said, well, there should be no restrictions on transfer. Transfer as much as you want. Anytime he said it should be open. Man, it's legal. It's eventually going to be legal just to talk right to the guys. You watch. But right now, I'm talking about within the rules. There are ways to circumvent the contact rule. So I can't contact you directly, but I can contact people who know you. And Michigan has got to have the same kind of response like they just had with NIL. You know, people said, they're going to be losing guys left and right. They didn't lose any returning starters. You think there wasn't people making a run at Will Johnson? You think that? Who thinks that? And by the way, look, there was nothing to all the Bama talk. I guess he made a tweet about Keon and Damani being down there, and people took that, and Nick Saban and so on. There was nothing ever to that at all.
I do not understand Damani still being in Alabama. I don't get it. He must really do not like being cold or something. I don't get it because you go in Alabama because of Nick Saban, and it's like, okay, I can understand that, right? The DB guy, whatever. Saban's gone. Why are you still at Alabama? That means Michigan was never in the fight. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where you got to adjust to the times, and that's one of the adjustments to the times right there is to tamper within the rules, man. I hope we see Michigan doing that in the spring. Go through the spring, see what you have, see what you need. And along the way, be in contact, be monitoring what's going on on other rosters, especially rosters where they've had a turnover. They've had some assistant turnover and definitely head coaching turnover, like at Alabama. Yeah, man, you got to be making some calls.
IT to the third.
It's
time to tamper.
That is exactly right.
They're not going to stop it, right? Like you said, Sam, man. You can't just keep allowing teams to legally tamper with your roster and then not return the favor. If they're going to do it, do it. And we're not saying go for Toledo's roster. We're not saying go for Western Michigan's roster. We're saying, well, Sam's saying, Bama, go get Bama's guys. They're in turmoil, right? What about Ole Miss? Right? Their coach is just trying to get a different job. Hey, man, your coach might not be there. Come on over. Just saying. Just saying, man. Our coach is going to be here. He just got this job, and we've proven that he can coach.
Hell, even Ohio State. Hey, man, you want to come get coached? You want to come get coached, like, for real?
Because y'all got a lot of 5-stars. Yeah, a lot of 5-stars. They ain't working out too good, huh?
Like, you want to come get coached, like, for real? Hey, come on up this way. I'd be definitely making those kinds of plays.
Mississippi State. What y'all got going on? You just trying to get your face kicked in by Bama and all the. Come on.
South Carolina. It's a bunch of them.
We got a hashtag now. Time to tamper. Thank you, Ben. Let's make it happen. Time to tamper, fellas. Time to tamper. All right. At any rate, as we move on, I want to make it clear with Keon. People were trying to say he chased the money. That was more about, I think, how, you got. I don't think anybody expected Makari to come in, and you got new coaching staff, so he would have had to take Wink's word for it. But it is what it is. You wish him the best, which is what I do. Super good dude, super good family, and hope he has some success down there at Alabama. And I hope Michigan has some success tamper with Bama's roster. We'll see how it goes moving forward.
Somebody in the chat said, "Hey man, Damani, get up here in the spring and quit playing. What you doing?"
Hey, you can transfer as much as you want these days.
What you want?
Hey, somebody made a good point in the chat as well. So if Michigan's going to tamper, right? You can't show up empty-handed, Sam. What are you using to enhance?
How you do that is you have your guys tell them how they're doing. All these guys who just got protected, who just got great NIL deals, those are your marketer, your chief NIL marketers right there. That's your proof. You don't have to have an inducement. Just be like, look, you jump into it. Just talk to players. Ask them how they're doing NIL wise, and let that speak for what can happen for you if you come up here too. So you don't have to be like, 500 stacks to come to Michigan. You just be like, hey, go talk to somebody who got 500 stacks.
Well, no, what I'm saying, but that's what you're competing against, though. So you're giving that pitch, and then the school B is saying, hey, forget all that. We got 500 just for you to come. Like, how do you compete with that?
But at that point, do you want them? Go ahead. We'll find someone else. You know what I mean? Right. You don't want to win. You don't want to dominate all this. That's fine. Sam, you know what would be terrible? Daniel, this would be terrible for me and you. If Michigan goes and wins another national championship back-to-back, Sam is going to be insufferable. They are going to hate Sam. They're going to be looking for your address for sure, Sam. I'm telling you.
Going to.
He's going to be insufferable. He can be way worse than me and you.
If Ohio State loses this year, and they got the best team money can buy, and they got all these coaches, they went and got a head coach
as the offensive coordinator, one of the greatest offensive minds, like the innovator of the spread.
You went from running the show to being Ryan Day's lackey. How soft must you be?
That's wild.
To do that? To say, I'd rather be a lackey than run my own show.
Is there a backdoor conversation where, hey, the offense looks great, you still lose to Michigan. This is for you to be the head coach, and Ryan Day's out. That's not. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of when a guy leaves a program and was like,
he a bootleg Ryan Day though. To me, like what to me, Ryan Day. Let me give Ryan a little bit of credit. I know he hasn't coached in the NFL.
Chat, pay attention. Hold on, time out, T-Mart. Chat, pay attention. Sam Webb is about to say something positive about Ryan Day.
I think Ryan Day is a better coach than Chip Kelly. I do. I think Ryan Day is a better coach than Chip Kelly. I think that he has shown the ability to at least not totally dismantle success. Right? He maybe affected it. He maybe diminished it some because he's not up to Urban Meyer's standards. He's not up to Jim Harbaugh's standards. He can't, compete against like real coaches.
Okay,
but,
Sam. If you
against
say
the rest of the guys, Ryan Day's good.
let's say Urban Meyer and Jim Harbaugh, those are 10 coaches, right? 10 out of 10, right? You win a championship, you develop programs. What number are we giving Chip Kelly, and what number are we giving Ryan Day?
So I give, Ryan
being the worst coach he could possibly be.
Ryan Day's a better coach than James Franklin.
Number. Okay, add James Franklin in there. I need a number for James Franklin, and the people want to hear this too. So you just dropping dimes. You got to give the people what they want. I want to know. You got 10s for Harbaugh and Urban. Obviously, develop one championship. Whatever.
I mean, Ryan Day is Scottie Pippen, man. He's Scottie.
Stop avoiding. We need numbers for Ryan Day, Chip Kelly, and also James Franklin. Here we go.
In the Big Ten right now?
Out of 10 as a coach. I don't care what the metric is.
Oh, out of 10 as a coach. Out of 10 as a coach.
If we're saying that Harbaugh and Urban Meyer are 10s, obviously because they win championships.
Yeah. I give Ryan, I give him a 7.
That's pretty good for you. That's a pass.
Yeah, that sounded like the start of a bad joke. Ryan Day, Chip Kelly.
6.5. I'm gonna go 6.5, but I mean, my man has been able to recruit.
Yeah.
Right. He's been able to get to the playoff. Like he's done something. He just can't beat real coaches. That's all.
So James Franklin and Chip Kelly, what do we have for those two then? If we're at 7, right?
They did more than 5. Because they can both do one thing. All James Franklin can do is recruit, and all Chip Kelly can do is basketball on grass. That's it. He can't do anything else.
So who gets a 5? Who gets a 4? Come on now. I need to know who's the better coach.
Just gave Chip and James Franklin 5s.
Oh, both. They're equal.
They both 5s, yeah.
But Chip Kelly got a Heisman Trophy winner in his past.
Okay. Okay. Hey, man, like I've used this analogy before. I mean, you can put anybody behind the wheel of a Lamborghini and it's going to go fast, right? Right? Just put your foot on the pedal. Now some guys are going to race it faster. Like, so I'm not saying that he's like a total rookie out there, but I mean, just don't mess it up.
I think that Ryan Day has kind of really, I think that his issue taking over for Urban Meyer it's that identity issue of like, I don't want this to be Urban Meyer's team. I want to put my stamp on what we're doing, right? Because everybody looks at Urban Meyer like, oh, spread all this, spread whatever, and they said it wouldn't work. But the thing is, Urban Meyer's spread is centered around power and being able to run the ball down your throat, right? And he's and that's why he always had that athletic quarterback that can run the ball because he wants to get the plus. He understands math, right? We get a +1 with a dynamic runner at quarterback, especially if he's powerful enough to run Q power often and all those different things. And so I think that was kind of like the misconception. And that's what Ryan Day wants to. I want to put my stamp on it. We're a passing team first type of thing, without vocalizing it. Just kind of, subconsciously saying to yourself, like, I don't want this to be that because I don't want them to always compare. I want it to be different. And I think that was the biggest mistake. And now you allow Michigan to kind of make up this ground. And it's hard to change that mentality after you've recruited for so many years for that type of basketball on grass type of atmosphere. And it works. It works really well against literally everybody. But then when you get in the trenches of the game, right? They call it the game for a reason. There are metrics and stats for hundreds of years or however long they've been playing the game of the team that rushes the ball more effectively, more than not, comes out the victor, right? And so it's so hard to translate, or transfer that kind of attitude of basketball on grass and kind of finesse football. And then for 1 week, just 1 week, we're tougher. Like, we're going to be tough. And I just think it just hasn't worked for him. And so is Chip Kelly the right hire? Because it's the same thing, right? You kind of like, it's repetitive, right? It's like a doppelganger almost. Like, it's like the Spider-Man me. Wait, we do the same thing, kind of. Like, you know what I mean? So
yeah, they just got they
do have some nice quarterbacks. They have some nice quarterbacks coming in.
They gotta hope that the talent disparity is just way wider.
Yeah, that's what it has to be.
Where the physicality, because to me, physicality, what we've seen, like, I think they got tough players. I think they don't have he got a tough team, not a tough scheme. And so you get in the situation, and it's hard to shake that. It's like you said, to try to transform for 1 week. I think it's a mentality, and Chip Kelly's not going to change that. He's not going to change that mentality tangibly, and so you just better hope that there's just the talent disparity is so wide that that won't make a difference. So we'll see, but I wanna get into a couple of other topics here real quick. First of all, the I Love Ann Arbor segment. Ben Krasner, can you drop that track, please? It's so the Droppin Dimes crew was together last week, brought to you by Destination Ann Arbor, and shout out to the Destination Ann Arbor family. Again, when you talk about the doors to Washtenaw, it's such a great place to live and visit. So many great places to eat. I'm always talking about you. Like you say, I'm talking about the nature trails all the time. I'm just telling you, it's something to get him. I didn't get a chance.
Destination Ann Arbor don't believe you be on them nature trails.
I'm gonna get some GoPro video of it on the bike trails. Right, but you got golf. Of course, you got the University of Michigan. You got great museums in the area. There's just so many great things about Washtenaw County, and Destination Ann Arbor opens the doors to all of them. Even bring great events to town, great sporting events to town, with the Ann Arbor Sports Commission as well. So this is what the I Love Ann Arbor segment is all about. We have a separate program called My Ann Arbor. We stop by a lot of the top places. Our first episode was with Will Johnson, and we went to 5 places. He took us to Puffer Reds in Ypsilanti, made it over to the M-Den, of course, as we saw some of his gear, some of his Turnover Buffs gear there. We made it by the Slurpin' Turtle. He loves golf, so we went to a golf simulator, X Golf. And then we finished things off with his toy drive over at the Blue Leprechaun, which is owned by none other than Perry Pericos. Which brings us to our My Ann Arbor tour. We had 5 stops. And so we stopped at another of Perry's establishments. Mm-hmm. We started at the Brown Jug. Yeah. Now, Daniel, stay with me on this because we went in the Brown Jug. We had some great.
Hey, man. I know where y'all go with this. Just relax, okay?
Hey, man. So we go in the Brown Jug and
why you always trying to make me a meme?
Yeah. And it is great. I mean, you talk about somebody that's just cool to hang out with. Sarah Miller from Destination Ann Arbor. She made her way, super busy, but she made her way over to come hang with us. You guys met Sarah when we did a beer and a burger segment over at Frazier's, right? And so, great beer and a burger partner, and she came over, had beer and a burger over at the Brown Jug. So Perry, by the way, who cost Michigan a shot at Giannis Antetokounmpo. So we praise Perry's Ann Arbor famous, and everybody knows Perry. He has a championship ring. That's how deep in the Michigan streets Perry is. But what they don't know is Perry cost Michigan a chance at Giannis Antetokounmpo. He said Giannis Antetokounmpo was like 8 miles away from him where he grew up. And he was John Beeline's, one of John Beeline's plugs, and never told John Beeline about the Greek Freak. Perry's fault. He wasn't in Michigan. Next time you go in the Brown Jug, say that to Perry. You cost us the Greek Freak. But he came with the food. We had the nice spread with the Italian sausage, and we had or is it Greek sausage? Maybe it was Greek sausage. We had the lamb and the grape leaf, which I never had before. And Daniel Horton, we're sitting around, we're having a great time. I eventually got the Lloyd Carr burger, which was great. And did Devin Gardner disappear for like 30 minutes?
Man, he was going almost the entire shoot.
I'm like, where is? We looking around, the gold limo bus who went to pick Devin up. How about Golden Limo? Another of our proud sponsors here on Steady Droppin Dimes. They did the Al Borges bus down to the Big Ten championship, right? They sponsored Droppin Dimes all last year, and they take us around. Will is one of their brand ambassadors. They drive Michigan football around, Michigan medicine around, all of them, whether it's airport transports or team transports where they need the buses. Golden Limo at goldenlimo.com handles all of that. And so they handled our transportation for the My Ann Arbor tour. Went to Devin's home, picked him up like Prince Akeem, settled him to Ann Arbor. And we get in town, and we're waiting on Devin to leave to the next stop. And Daniel, I'll say again, where is Devin? Weren't we looking around for the brother?
We're looking around, he was like Casper for a minute. Where's Devin? Where's the 6'5", former Michigan quarterback. We couldn't find it.
And what was he doing? He said, "We at the Brown Jug, and what were you doing, Devin? I could deliver this line real well if you want me to. But you'll think I was attacking you if I say it. So I'll let you tell the people what you were doing at the Brown Jug before we left."
Listen, guys, I'm not getting involved with this garbage, this propaganda that you guys are spewing all over. You're supposed to be dropping dimes, not dropping propaganda. I have the right, not necessarily God-given right, but the United States government says I do not have to answer any of your questions. You feel me? So I have the right to plead the fifth, and anything you say, I can neither confirm nor deny any of the accusations. What are we doing? You know what you think this is? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even know where this story's going. I thought you were talking about how I have my own meal at the Brown Jug. You know, chicken strips and fries. You can get them waffle. You can get them steak. Whatever you want. You get all the dressings. That's what I thought you were talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
This dude, Chris Wilson, is on it. He said he was on the Brown Jug. Devin, when we found him, he said it was definitely some brown in that jug. And I was like, hey, man. I was like, hey, man, at least you didn't do it on the gold limo. At least you didn't smoke us out of the gold limo bus. We appreciate that about you. That we won't make that a part of the episode. That's be part of the outtakes, right? Because here's the other thing. Now Devin ought to know better than this. The veteran in this game that he is. Like, you got to know how to use the mute button on your mic. My man didn't take the mute button on. Didn't put the mute button on his mic when he went to the Brown Jug. When he went to like the actual Brown Jug, he didn't take explosive. Ah, man, we had a great time.
Hold on, Sam. The crazy part is he's telling us the story, and he tells us that there's no door on the bathroom. That's savage for you to go in these people's establishment and drop the bombs with no door on the bathroom. Hey, he was knocking the paint off the wall, boy. Hey.
I can neither confirm nor deny the propaganda being spewed all over Droppin Dimes. It's just propaganda everywhere. It's just all over the screen. Just propaganda. I'm sick of it. This is goofy. Can we move on to the next topic, please? Can we move on to the next topic? Can we fix the NBA All-Star game? Can we talk about that?
I already talked to Lance, one of our great camera guys and our top editor, and I said, okay, don't put that in the actual Mayan Arbor video. So it won't be in the video, but it will be in outtakes. It will be in outtakes. It'll be a separate video. So anyway, we left there. We went to Bivouac, and let me give Devin a shot. We went to Bivouac, and man, didn't you feel like Simi walking in with Prince Akeem when we walked into Bivouac?
Only thing they was missing the rose petals. Everything else, I felt like I was with Prince Akeem that day. Devin, you the man for that, brother.
Yeah, man, he got it. He took care of us. And then from there, we went to La Casa Cigar Ann Arbor, and it's a cigar bar here in town, and it was outstanding. I don't know if you have
lacking nothing.
It lacked nothing. And I mean, Devin had his strawberry cigar.
Why am I being attacked so much on this episode of Droppin Dimes? I don't understand. I don't understand the attack on me.
We had we had cigars from the D, or I had a cigar from the D, and then you
so did
had strawberry cigars from the D. Okay, well at any rate, and then you paired it with a nice drink there, Daniel. So that was cool.
Yes.
Devin even made a video at La Casa Cigar. I don't know if Ben has that ready to show the people. That was a really, really cool
top three video I've ever created. Top 3. And I've created some very cool videos.
Yeah, that was okay. And so for him to be a rookie cigar smoker, I said, man, look at DG. Understanding you don't inhale, you puff and let it out.
Pericos. I've already inhaled it down my lungs with Pericos, the smoke, and it was not fun the very first time way back in college. So I learned that early.
Yeah, so that was cool. So you'll see all of this episode. It was a ton of fun. And then we went over to the Folding Warehouse.
I'm sorry, where did we go? No, just slow it over.
We went to the Folding Warehouse in Ypsilanti, and Devin beat us like 5-1. He did. Okay. He destroyed us.
He did.
He like he was supposed to as a former quarterback, I must say.
However you want to put it, that's the one thing that's not propaganda. That is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
And then we finished off at Weber's Restaurant, which was outstanding. Had great steaks, great dessert. I had this banana bread pudding with butter pecan ice cream, which was outstanding.
That key lime pie went crazy.
Yeah,
I popped it off though with my soups. My soups went crazy.
It was a terrific time. So be on the lookout for that episode. Can't thank all of the stops enough, and Golden Limo, outstanding. Second to none when it comes to transportation services in Ann Arbor. You can check them out at goldenlimo.com. Ben, drop that track, my man. So, fellas, listen, real quick. There was an all-star game. I don't want to belabor this point too much. It was atrocious.
Yeah.
I say this watching basketball in Southeast Michigan this year, which has been a terrible experience. Michigan
on all levels.
Yeah, no, that's my point.
Every single level. I went to high school. I mean, everything's bad.
Oh, well, hey, I guess I wouldn't even count. Because, man, Michigan basketball is in last place, and they blew a game, which you were at, Daniel, to a mediocre Michigan State team, which went home yesterday and got punked by Iowa. And I don't say that lightly, because Michigan State did beat Michigan, but they outshot Iowa from three-point range in this game, Daniel. They were like 10 for 20 from three-point range, and Iowa beat them up inside the arc. They got beat at home. And then the Pistons are terrible. So when I say call the All-Star game atrocious, I say it against that backdrop of bad basketball all throughout Southeast Michigan. But the All-Star game was a travesty of justice, man. And I'm curious, you being a basketball guy, what's your take on that? And what's your take on how you fix All-Star weekend? Because it was a thing when I was a kid, man, watching these dudes, watching the dunk contest, and it's terrible now.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a question the NBA is gonna have to answer going forward, right? Now that the cries and the complaints have gotten this loud after this year's game, it's something they're gonna have to figure out. And it's one of those things where I hope it doesn't become what the NFL Pro Bowl has become. That's the most ridiculous thing I've seen in the NFL stuff. I hope the NBA doesn't go that route. I hope they can figure out a way to make it competitive, whether they put home court advantage on the line for the finals, or come up with something, man. Because like if they do that again, that as ridiculous as that was, it'll get worse. We'll be watching only a 3-point contest and a slam dunk contest and a bunch of other kid games where guys are
garbage too, dang.
Not for sure, and it's one of those things like what can the human body? How much more can the human body actually do while dunking a basketball?
No,
right?
Daniel, I didn't watch some high school stuff. I didn't watch some just regular old people stuff. I didn't see the college stuff. It's good dunkers. I don't know what the problem is about these NBA dudes. They just don't care enough. But Daniel, I have a proposition for you, and I wonder what you think about this because you've been in basketball forever. I know you didn't play king of the court over and over again. The kind of pride that goes into playing king of the court when you roll that ball out and you play on one-on-one, right? Why not have that, right? Have king of the court if you want to do bigs against bigs, and then the bigs play the smalls if you want. However you want to do it, have king of the court where they're playing one-on-one. Because I'm just telling you, you don't go to a whole bunch of football camps. But when you start doing one-on-ones, that's when all the fireworks happen, Sam. Am I right? Right? Those one-on-ones between wide receivers, because it's a personal pride that you have. And I imagine it's the same thing with king of the court, right? So you roll that rock out, you put a bracket together, and you say, hey, this is what it's going to be, 2 and out or whatever the process is. But let these dudes play one-on-one to see who really like that, who's really the hooper and who really has game. And I think the players will get up for that just because you can build your brand on that, because some people don't get a chance to really show their full bag in basketball, team basketball. When you one-on-one, you got to prove, like, I really can hoop. And some people who really can guard. I think that'd be a perfect consolation for, this garbage that we continue to have to watch on TV.
I would say it's a good idea. You know, those guys play a lot of one-on-one before after practice anyway.
Yeah.
I just think it's gonna be the same as what you're watching, you know, during the regular games.
You think that the pride won't, because somebody gonna take it serious.
I mean, pride is gonna take over, and guys are gonna probably take it serious, but at the same time, it'll get a bit repetitive. The same guys are gonna win: Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, the guys that you see at the top of the scoring are the guys who are going to win the one-on-one games as well. Like, there's not like, if there was an opportunity, if there was a way that you could have like underdogs, and like you might see a guy that's like the 12th man on Milwaukee's roster step up and win the one-on-one contest.
Well, aren't there dudes like that in the NBA that just can hoop and just really are one-on-one players, but they doesn't really fit in any system? Aren't there guys like that?
There's a couple guys like that, but they're still not going to beat the Kevin Durant's and the Kyrie Irvings in one-on-one. So it'll be a thing where, again, you're going to be reliant on the stars to be willing to participate. Now, if you make it just for the guys like 6 through 12 on 6 through 15 on the roster, then you could get to see those other guys hoop and see who could really got game. But at the end of the day, if you want to be, whatever they do, if they want to be popular, is going to be dependent on the league's best players and the league stars being willing to participate and play hard, right? Not just participate and give a half-ass effort and say, hey, I'm here. You know, you're going to have to participate and really, you know, compete. So I don't know what you can do for basketball. You know, the chances of rolling an ankle or stepping wrong and tearing the Achilles or a knee, you know, in a one-on-one game is just as great as it is if it was a, you know, 5-on-5. So there's always,
one proposition I've heard is overseas versus America, and I think that'll bring a lot of pride, because overseas dudes gonna get
that would be interesting. That would be interesting, but it would be, again, if you're taking the top players from all the different club teams, it would be interesting. But you run the risk of it becoming a USA versus the world thing.
Yeah, that's what I like. If you're not from America, you on the other team. I like that.
You get some Olympic stuff, and then you might have guys who are foreigners who want to play with. I think you are on the right track though. And Travis Foster, I know if you gotta bounce, DG, go ahead and bounce. But Travis Foster makes it clear here. They're too scared to be embarrassed. And you said there's not much more the human body can do. When Michael Jordan dunked from the free throw line, he wasn't the first one to do that dunk.
Right.
We said that dunk had been done before, but it was Michael Jordan doing the dunk, right? Dominique wasn't the first one to windmill. I mean, you had other guys that had done dunks like this before, but it was the human highlight reel doing this dunk, right? And so the stars don't enter the dunk contest anymore. I don't know how you fix that. But as far as the All-Star game itself is concerned, I think you try to gather the top 20 draft prospects. Some of them will be NIL deals. Now, college people won't like this because you be talking about taking college players away from their teams for like 2 or 3 days. It's like, oh, you can't do that. Ira Watch was like, you can't do that. Hey, you tell a dude you're going to pay him 100 stacks to come spend 3 days at All-Star weekend, he come.
Yeah,
and the coaches fear hockey loses guys mid-season for they've been doing that for years.
Make it part of the NCAA schedule.
Yeah, make it exactly. But any guy who passed, you just keep going down the list. Maybe there's a G leaguer or two in there as well. But you get the top 20 guys that are not NBA guys, and you put them against. Now it's a pride thing. They don't want to get beat by those dudes. The story that I brought up was when the Dream Team got clipped in practice it was a team of mostly sophomores. It was Chris Webber, who was a freshman, but then it was Jamal Mashburn, who was a sophomore, Rodney Rogers, who was a sophomore, Penny Hardaway, who was a sophomore. You had Allen Houston on that team, right? Grant Hill, who was a sophomore. And those dudes went out and beat the Dream Team. Chuck Day like, hold up, stop tape, everybody get out of here. And then now we playing for real, and the Dream Team came back and beat them. Or the other story I told was when I was at the LeBron camp back in the mid-2000s, and man, Jordan Crawford, who was at Indiana at the time, they were just in like a pickup game. And he comes down and dunks on LeBron, and LeBron is confiscating all the film. So all the reps coming out, you can't show that film. Nobody put that film. Give us your film kind of thing. Why? Because he just got dunked on by this college dude. Embarrassment is the currency, fellas. That's how you make them care. I don't even think it's any amount of money.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's gonna be hard to get a guy making $50 million to care about being embarrassed. He just won't play in the game.
Yeah,
Then you run the risk of losing your stars not playing because they're not going to show up to play against D leaguers and guys from overseas and high school guys. They won't do it.
It'd be hey man, any guy who passes, okay. There's gonna be some guys who want to perform. I want to see an actual game. You'll get enough stars that compete and play with some pride, and are not gonna get embarrassed.
They're gonna play hard against each other.
Yeah, they're not gonna be embarrassed by some prospects. See, when the NBA guys get out, now it's like, okay, ain't none of us really playing. And then if you the guy playing, if you the guy out there like DG in Folding and you actually trying, when you know your game is like that, right? And you're not just playing the game, then they laughing at you because look at that dude out there trying.
Before I go, I just want to be clear. I just want to ask a question. You know, are you implying that you, my friend, who I know is a competitor, you compete as a journalist, you've competed your entire life. You talk about back in the day and you are a competitor. And Daniel, obviously, ultimate competitor. We just talked about playing King of the Court. I know Daniel had some heated times where he probably got into fights. Are you implying in an athletic opportunity you weren't trying? After I talked crazy, y'all, and told you how bad I was gonna beat you, I was Muhammad Ali with it, and you telling me I was the only one trying?
Devin, I sat and watched you have one of the greatest games in the history of Michigan Stadium. You're supposed to do that. You're supposed to beat us in Foley. What are we talking about? Why are we?
I feel a little disrespected. 500 yards, 584 total off 70% completion. That's it, that sounds wild.
I wasn't even talking about that game. I was talking about the Notre Dame game. I was adjusting it for the level.
I love that game. That was not my best game, Sam.
Hey, considering it was under the lights and it's against Notre Dame, come on, brother. See, I'm trying to give you credit. You don't even want to catch the credit.
So many great games, you know.
Catch the credit, Devin. Catch the credit, please, and stop derailing me. I'm trying to get us out of here, right? To make this point.
I just need to know where you guys trying. That's all.
Yeah, but see, my point is none of these guys in the All-Star game are trying, and it penalizes guys who want to try because they're gonna be the objects of ridicule by all the other guys. Well, now you know these prospects are gonna try, and it's gonna bring out the try hard in these stars simply because we ain't gonna get embarrassed by these dudes. Now, some people are saying, well, they won't even play. Enough of them will play to actually make it a game, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's been fun. I love the chat was wild today. Daniel, Sam, my condolences go out to you guys and not being able to, hold up your promise of competing. It was very boring for me at Folding. So
hey man, that's like me bragging about beating you in the
Mizler, I see you in the chat. My God, man. I wish you would have came.
Let me give you proper credit. Because I thought I had seen it all when Devin Gardner on 1 foot against Ohio State went out there. But man, Devin Gardner with half a gut going out there at the Foley warehouse and actually still competing. Devin Gardner with the irritable bowel syndrome that day.
Sam, before I go, this is the last thing. Before I go, Sam, I
gotta give you credit.
Sam, I need you to tell the people what happened at the very end of the game. How did I end the game? Tell them how it happened, and I'm out.
You pointed to the pin and you said, Sam, do you want me to end it? And you hit the pin. Like you were supposed to. This is the dude who can.
I don't like how you told that story. There's no more dramatic than that. We have been going back and forth. I got 1 pin left. And at a point, I'm like, all right, we got to go. The camera's about to shut off. I said, Sam, do you want me to end it? And you say, what? I said, Sam, do you want me to end it now? And you said, go ahead. Do it. Goodbye, people.
This is not even. That's not even an accomplishment. That's not.
You notice I kind of checked out for a second because it's like me bragging about beating DG and shooting.
Hey, talk to him, man. That's me. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Goodbye. See y'all.
All right, folks. That's gonna do it for another episode of Steady Dropping Dimes. We will see you next week.